Alabama Live, the holidays, well, Christmas and New Year may be over, but we're getting closer to another holiday, MLK Day, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, and the city of Montgomery is getting ready to celebrate with a ton of events. Joining us now in studio is Kirk Hatcher. You are the chair of the MLK committee this year. What all do you have planned?
I am, and it's an official committee. I chair that committee every year, have been since it was passed on to me by Representative Alvin Holmes. Who asked if I would continue to do that when I was running to replace him in House District 78. And I am delighted to take on the responsibility to do it because it just means so much, not only to the city, this region, but quite frankly, the country. And my hope is that we will be able to have the kind of King Day celebration that is only second to the city of Atlanta as it relates to what we will do to really encapsulate further the legacy of Dr. King here on that weekend.
We were just talking off camera, living and working in Montgomery, you take this for granted sometimes. I walk outside of this building and you see tourists, you see the tour buses, you see people taking pictures, but every day you forget sometimes that Dr. MLK walked these sidewalks.
That's right.
He lived in this city. He preached at the church right outside
across the street,
of this building that we're standing in. Why is it so important every year for us to come together and acknowledge that?
You know, I think that's a great question because I do think that far too often we take for granted the richness of that legacy that's been left with us by Dr. King and before Dr. King. And I think of those forerunners who came before him in this community in 1954 and 55, and what they were doing to prepare the way for Martin Luther King Jr., not knowing that it would be him. And I think a part of what we have to do, especially now, given a very hyper-partisan political environment, is to remember those core values that Dr. King espoused, and to do so in a way that maintains the integrity of those words, not to manipulate those to one advantage that does not speak to his desire for a beloved community. And so a part of what we're seeking to do with this celebration, and the theme this year is a time to build, is to absolutely take each event and have each of those events that we have set up and our committee has worked so hard to put together and showcase to the community for their participation what it means to live out those values, especially for such a time as this.
I know you have a full schedule of events. Talk about some of the things you have planned for the celebration.
This year we are starting on that Friday with a jazz and lyrical celebration, local talent here in the community. Gentleman he's like my nephew, Amon Robinson, will lead that effort. We'll be at the Sanctuary on that Friday. I believe it's the 12th. Beginning at 7, ending at 9. There will be food trucks out lining the streets. Remember to bring your money with you. And then, of course, that Saturday, the gentlemen of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, the foundation, sponsors a memorial breakfast. I think it's the 28th breakfast that's coming up, and it's at 9 a.m. that Saturday morning. Which is always a wonderful sold-out event. And then, of course, on that Monday is the parade at 10 a.m., ending at noon, and then the great birthday bash and the family fun day takes place right after the parade. So it's going to be and that's at Centennial Hill, right where Dr. King was living in the parsonage. So it's going to be a wonderful event. We need people to come out, be a part of this. Rain or shine, be a part of this and remember why it is we're doing it.
Why is it so important to have those young people out there? Dr. Martin Luther King, he wouldn't have been that old if he were alive today. But some of these younger people are a little further removed now from his legacy. Why is it important to teach them about him?
Well, the message is the same that he was offering. It is a message that I think resonates with any person's looking at New Testament witness when we talk about those greatest commandments that are left with us, and the main one being love. And I do think that what we need to do more of and that most of the people in this community know I talk about all of the time, is if we start with the richness of that particular love ethic that we saw played out not only here in the Montgomery community by Dr. King and so many of the foot soldiers, and then moved out into not only this nation but the world, I think we will be able to help a community of young people further realize the richness of their inheritance when it comes down to the King legacy and beyond. And to also remember that any number of those individuals who walked these streets were actually participating in that struggle along with Dr. King. So you are heirs
of that legacy.
Yes, and to remind them of that. So we're doing the oratorical contest, I left that out, that will include our young people in Montgomery Public Schools. And
so important too, because he was a profound speaker.
Absolutely,
so.
Absolutely. And so mastering the elocutionary arts, which is unique among all Morehouse men. So he, I can't say enough about what that means for young people to see more of it, because obviously so many of our young people, Gen Z and millennials that I've taught over the years, think that 1980s is ancient history.
I know.
So for them to see this is going to be, I think, pretty amazing, especially the parade portion. We're looking forward to it.
How can people keep up and view that full schedule and keep up with all the work that your committee did to make this?
They can go
possible?
to the website. I think it might be, we might be putting it up here.
Yep.
MLK Day, mgm.com, to locate any and all of the information, the sign-up sheets for the parade. Everything that's needed will be on that particular website. And we look forward to everyone coming out and just having a fantastic time celebrating Dr. King and the richness of his legacy.
All right, Kirk, thanks so much for joining us here on Alabama Live. We appreciate it.
Thank you.